people, as space science and technology is a multidisciplinary field of innovation, and as well as engage the public, get them to use the space science and technology in our business processes, whether it was agriculture or disaster management, all the way to just the well-being of our people.
So I've noted that, and later on I'm going to come back to that conversation around the focus on young people. I'd just like to ask you quickly before we go on a break, because we're going to have news in a bit. SANSA idira medical such as it's got research that such as Earth observation, space science, space operations. A bit of each. What does it mean? Because as a listener, or even and what does Earth observation mean?
Literally translated, Earth observation is observing the Earth on a platform of the Earth you see. So we use satellites fitted with sensors that we launch into outer space using rockets to collect information about the Earth's land, oceans, and atmosphere. And we are sitting today in 2022 with petabytes and petabytes of Earth observation archive data that allows us to do what we call time series analysis to see how Soweto was 50 years ago, how it has grown, and how we can discern these patterns and find the intelligence to make sense of our world, see where the future is going based on the past. So we are in the business of identifying patterns and also to come up with strategies to mitigate against the effects of new phenomena like drought, like climate change, like floods, how to better prepare.
And what would space science, space operations entail then?
The laboratory of a space scientist, space physicist, is the distance between the Earth and the Sun. That's a 150 million kilometer laboratory. The Sun is the major source of energy on Earth, gives us energy, but with that energy comes also phenomena that systems in space and on Earth. So space weather forecasting is one such phenomena that is very unique, that requires global collaboration. And SANSA Space Science based in Hermana, that impacts on several technologies, including technologies in the military and aviation sector. It affects transmission line pipelines, and so this research, owing to the fact that humanity today is so dependent on technology, impact on our businesses and our industries. So space science is about that phenomena that is driven largely by the sun and its 11-year solar cycle, from solar minimum to solar maximum.
All right. In fellow space operations, engineering, how close are they to each other, and what do they individually mean?
They are actually connected. Space engineering is concerned with the development of next generation satellite missions. So South Africa has a very strong space engineering competence that has been developed even during apartheid government. But today we are sitting with a 23-year heritage as an African spacefaring nation. So we build satellites. We have companies in South Africa that build satellite components, export to global markets, generate those revenues, create jobs for young people. So space engineering is really concerned about developing the systems that we need to understand. Look, we are surrounded by oceans. So currently, one of the big satellite projects that are on is the Maritime Domain Awareness Satellite Constellation of 9. In January this year, 3 of them moved into outer space to go and start this wonderful constellation that we 5 dishes, the ones many people confuse as the satellites, but they are not satellites. Satellite dishes like mushrooms on the Earth, communicating with various satellites in outer space. But space operations is more than that. It is involved in the telemetry of satellite systems, and it communicates with various satellites. We hosting infrastructure for other people. It's nestled in the Magaliesberg mountain range in the West Rand district of Gauteng. So it's the most noise quiet environment, because that is an ideal environment from 100% Cape is Pretoria, in city of Tshwane Metropolitan Municipality, and in West Rand. Well, these are the three SANSA sites, and we are recently establishing and expanding that to Fontaine in the central Karoo district of the Western Cape province, where we will be doing deep space missions with our partners, NASA in America.
Oh, fantastic. Can you please just conversation? I know what you are listening to Kopanong FM, UniAppSA Career Planning Show, and we are chatting everything astronautics, aeronautics, aerospace, Riguale, South African National Space Agency, and the voice and we Reden Matsapola, a science engagement manager, and I'm Pearl Marie Goldstein. Let's chat after the news. Let's check after the news.
Daycare center, marriage counseling, premarital counseling, parenting workshop, marriage seminars, individual counseling, family counseling, social work intervention. Obafikela mo office number 7B Lihuruti Complex. Ogabaleleza.
Kantse polisi se bua ke ba build ba leng ba itsana ape a mogotsa ka go le go khabisa ntlo ya gago ba thusa bagodi ka sekoloto go fitla go 4,000 rand ba di kontraka le bagwedi go fitla go 300,000 rand ba bona kwa shop number 2 Church Street Zerust ba nna teka mogala mo go 018-642-3147 the car Kopanong FM.
Tla go le bogepel mo gaetso madume ke go tatso seiso di kgang ke tsaura ya botlhano mo Kopanong FM. Tona ya sepodisi e o ene nye hupile te du begikele o batla batho go emisa go leletsa kgotsa go moleletsa morago ga gore nomoro ya gagwe ya mogala e manegiwe mo mafaratlhatlheng a boitapoloso beke eno ga e sala nomoro ya gagwe ya rogantswe beke eno kele a re mogala wa gagwe wa letheka o ntse o lela o sa fetse kele a re fa araba mogala baletsi ba tima mogala nomoro ya mogala ya kele e kaega fa e arogantswe mo maranyaneng ke Patricia Mashale mosadi yo dirileng ditatofatso kgatlhanong le matona sepodisi go akaretsa mo presidente Cyril Ramaphosa mo metseletseleng ya dimanego Mashale o tsitsintse gore go nnile le matshosetsi ka ga botshelo ba gagwe morago ga go sutlisa bopaki kgatlhanong le batlhankela ba ba kwa godimo ba sepodisi. Le sepodisi se kwa lefelong la tiragalo la thuntsho e nngwe ya mogoso kwa Mthatha kwa Eastern Cape batho ba le supa ba bolailwe ke kgotsa ba bolailwe ka go thuntsiwa fa banna ba le bararo ba ba neng ba tlhometse ba ne ba pateletsa go tsena kwa ntlong e kwa polaseng le go thuntsa ka la boraro bosigo batho ba le barataro ba tlhokafaletse kwa lefelong la tiragalo le wa bosupa o inetse mo dikgobalong kwa bookelong mongwe wa baagisani a re ga se tiragalo ya ntlha mme ba kopa go sirelediwa. Le mo go tse dingwe puso e makgatlhanong kopo ya beile ya monna yo wa North West yo latofadiwang ka go bolaya ngwana wa dikgwedi di le 5 ka Garawe Lazarus Chaka Hambone wa dingwaga di le 38 o na tlhageletse ka boripana kwa kgotlatshekelo ya magistrata wa Leeudoringstad gompieno kgetsi kgatlhanong le ena e buseditswe morago go ngwanatsela tlhola malatsi a le 22 morago ga gore moeledi wa gagwe a kope nako ya go bua le modirisi wa gagwe tebang le kopo ya beile sebueledi sa kgaolo sa NPA Henry Mamotame a re go ya ka pegelo ya sepodisi motlogolo wa Hambone wa dingwaga di le 16 o nnile le thefosano ya mafoko le Hambone kwa extension 4 kwa motsesetoropong wa Kgakala kwa Leeudoringstad ka la Matlhatso ngwanatsela tlhola malatsi a le 5 fa ne a pepile ngwana Hambone o ne a ya kwa ntle le go boa a tshotse Garawe.
In other areas yalo and streaming from other provinces. In our hood, so they are doing us very proud. But they are very proud. Guys, go out there and do it. And anyway, now Coach Michael, you are doing a fantastic job. Now back to the show. How are you listening to Pearl Moagi Goldstein? This is the UniAppSA Career Planning Show, and we were talking about everything that has to do with space, Earth observation, space sciences, space operations. And now we're going to go, please, you're still trying to decide what you want to do. Because we are going to now go into the conversation around how you as a young person that is interested in this space conversation can contribute or can tap in push a career in that area, or the courses that help you to end up SANSA or with issues that are related to SANSA. Ante re boele ya go Reden Matsapola. Reden
Inalamma.
All the offerings SANSA ididirang. The offerings SANSA ididirang ibile o bua gore go na le a new station e leng gore le tlabe le se dira ka kwano. I would like to ask you now, specifically because this is a career planning show, for learners who are interested in a career with SANSA, what subjects must they excel in?
Re-emphasize the science subjects because space science and technology anchored on the gateway subjects of mathematics, physical and life sciences, geography, especially for Earth observation. So emphasize the gateway subjects based on my mathematics, including the computer-related sciences.
And yaka well kutlo waka geography, and I understand gore go le gantsi nyana bana ba dirang bo maths and science ba tsamaya le dilo tse dingwe, and then ba geography ke ba ba leanang more towards body history yalo le yalo. Do they math, science, labor, geography, do they all have to go together, or can one o eleng gore o na le di specifics geography as long as ba pasa sentle still be part of the program?
The most critical of them all mathematics. In fact, geography is best studied in mathematics because they related. I mean, physical science is highly mathematical in its content, and mathematics is the language of science. So mathematics it accompany every other subject, whether the applications environment, space technology, which is Earth observation, or over in the development of satellite systems, which predisposes you into the engineering side, or you want to be with the technical environment where you will be the interface between satellites orbiting around the Earth and the Earth users on the ground in a satellite ground station environment. So mathematics becomes critical throughout that value chain, as well as in innovation. Mathematical models inform much of what we do with what we enjoy through our cell phones today. GPS that gives us the ability to navigate. These are mathematical models. So math and other science subjects become critical.
So does SANSA offer any bursaries?
Yes, SANSA offers postgraduate bursaries. So our bursaries are not targeted at learners in the school system. They are targeted at students who have a junior degree and want to enhance their studies further for honors, masters, all the way to PhD and postdoctoral studies in areas that are related to the space value chain. So we fund students who are studying areas that are related to the space value chain, and so that we can either have a critical mass of people who are skilled in this field, who can start their own businesses, consultancies, and work with government, the three spheres of government, to develop applications and develop solutions.
So there's space then go SANSA for aeronautics, astronomical engineering, or learners or students that are aspiring astronauts and all of that.
Yes, currently we don't have an astronaut program, but we partner with organizations, as I said earlier on, regarding the Matsapola development, the Deep Space Network. We're partnering with the likes of NASA, European Space Agency, and the Far East countries, China, Japan, and you name them. So they have astronaut programs. We don't have an astronaut program actively, but of course it is an aspiration to see the first black African in space. I experienced a microgravity environment. I add that to that body of knowledge experienced by just over 700 humans since Yuri Gagarin went in April 1961.
Yes, because the question I'm going to the last astronaut, we actually know two. The first key, Mark Shuttleworth, and then the only South African that we know. I mean, there's a female one now who is working with NASA. She is from Kenya, but for more a local area, more South Africa, it was the late Mandla Maseko, and we were relating to him as, the first black astronaut and all of that. So the next question is, with the partnership that you have, is there anyone or is there a group from South Africa or around, soon to be able to look up to, because currently all we're doing is looking up to astronauts in the US particularly.
Remember that there is a major paradigm shift happening in the global space industry. It used to be the exclusive preserve of government, and especially governments with deep pockets. But increasingly what is happening, we are seeing a trend. You may have heard of our very own Elon Musk, who is busy revolutionizing the space world with his big vision and ideas about establishing a village on Mars. You may know about people like Sir Richard Branson in the UK, who wants to make space travel a regular feature, not just for astronauts, but space tourists. So the late Mandla Maseko, may God rest his soul in peace, he was one of the beneficiaries of private initiatives that sought to take ordinary citizens, put them through intensive training programs, and then get them to experience microgravity environment. By the way, it's not just Mark Shuttleworth from South Africa. There is Mike Melville, who actually was flying one of the spacecraft that actually went to space. He's from Durban, Shuttleworth was from Cape Town. So we are talking about private as well as public programs for getting as many people as possible to experience. We normally say breakfast on Earth, lunch in space, and dinner back on Earth. Now that is the most visual interpretation of space tourism, not necessarily astronaut program, but space tourism.
Right. No, that is fantastic. I understand there was when I understand sir, I understand no conversation that we had, around this and the excitement about kids in learning about everything space, aeronautics, astronauts, and all of that, and as well as engineering. And I believe you had a question or something to that effect. But firstly, before we go into that question, right, there is a program, to my understanding, SANSA in Leone, and I think we can also engage in that in relation to what UniAppSA is currently doing on the ground.
Yes, that is correct. Look, really, initially there was our conversation, and as I'm sitting, and this is such an explosive interview, it's very insightful, and I'm taken aback myself. So before I get into my own personal issues, right, let me just deliberate on what we had a chat on earlier. Matsapola, dumela, ke le fale le go UniAppSA.
Dumela bra.
Le kae ra?
Kae?
Re teng man ke o leboga thata man. Bona really ba UniAppSA, we have embarked on a journey of breaking barriers and pretty much fast tracking and bringing back the ideal professions to bana at grassroots level. So for instance, Ntabiseng, who's Kodinokana right now, we are trying to foster the idea of her gazing into the far cosmos since Nalego grade 8. So effectively, we've positioned ourselves as a career planning service provider. At the moment, we've had a lot of traction in Northwest, which brings me to my point. Over the past year, we've partnered with the Department of Education and Sports, to roll out career planning interventions to the schools that are under their care. Things are going very successful, and what we've done is we're also engaging with key stakeholders to roll it out across the entire province for now. And in the next year, we'll be continuing the Moramotseramuilo and then launching Rustenburg as well. And so now in this career planning roadshow that we execute, we are constantly looking for partners, particularly guys that operate in sectors that are extremely far-fetched to an ordinary kid, or townshipping or villaging. So I'm quite familiar with some of the outreach initiatives that SANSA undertakes, particularly some of the visits that you undertake where Kolong, as well as opening up your facilities to other individuals who just like to pay a visit, right? So I mean, that being said, for as long as I can remember, and even for the distant future, UniAppSA will constantly be visiting Dikolo on a weekly basis. There's an opportunity that we'd like to explore, given that we share more or less an interest in taking some of this information to pretty much needed spaces. Is there room where we could invite someone like SANSA, or maybe we could collaborate in such a way that in some of your roadshows, or rather roadshows that UniAppSA were able to invite you so that you can disseminate some of this key information? Because to be very honest, if we are thinking about key stakeholders in this particular space, aviation and space exploration, SANSA is the only partner that we can think of that can deliberate on these matters. Is that an option that you guys would be open to exploring?
Partnerships is a new way of work in the world post-COVID-19. In fact, the Chief Director of Space Science and Technology at the Department of Science and Innovation is quoted saying, collaborate or perish. So we partner with diversity of partners. In academia, that means, and our largest partner there, of course, is the Department of Basic Education. Non-profit organizations that are also interested in promoting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Those are our natural partners because we do not create their platform. We come into their spaces and find the platforms that they have, and we play an enrichment role. So we are very much open to partnering with a diversity of partners, from universities to schools that we actually work on a regular basis to develop that consciousness of opportunities available for young people in the space science and technology domain. So yes, we are very much open to partnerships. It's just no two partnerships are the same. So we discuss these ideas and then we socialize them until we get to a winning formula that allows us to decide what modalities and activities to implement in the various sections. But we've been there with partners that organize science festivals there. We talk of Rustenburg, we are there with partners through various platforms, National Science Week, World Space Week. So we are very much open to partnership because that's the only way that we will ensure safe, penetrate, the society and create a culture of science in our society.
Right. Thank you so much. This was this is very informative, and I appreciate that partnership. I just wanted to interject in that because you've been there, you've been to Rustenburg and so forth. But even with me, who generally has the ear on the ground, I'm surprised whether there's been anything around the Ramusirimula area to that nature, which I mean I do believe was there, but I think the issue is challenge the separation, in terms of what is being offered and who is offering it. So the information will be valuable and the right people will go. But I think what you are talking to is the availability for learners, which I feel would be a great opportunity for then, especially with school. So if we're doing an exhibition and it is at a stadium and we're inviting the general public, some random young people will go and they'll attend, but some will be left behind. But I feel that it would allow for the majority of the targeted audience to be able to attend.
Yes. Matsapola, sorry. So that being said, would you be open to an offline conversation in terms of how we could potentially engineer the whole thing, particularly ahead of next year? I mean, if you guys, like you pointed out, the areas plan out some and it happens that so that being said, I'd like for us to have an offline conversation so that if there are areas of collaboration, we start to explore so that next year we just hit the ground running.
That's a natural next step, yes.
Awesome. All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Den Matsapola, Science Engagement Manager at SANSA. Is there any last words that you'd like to say?
All I want to say to the young people of Africa beyond the Northwest Province and South African boundaries is space science and technology holds great promise for stimulating multidisciplinary thinking that we need in order to harvest the African youth demographic dividends that Agenda 2030 talks about. The Africa we want.
Oh, yes. Hello? Matsapola?
Oh yes, Agenda 2063 talks about youth demographic dividend, harvesting the youth demographic dividend. And if we have to harvest that dividend, we must plant the seeds now. And space science and technology is unparalleled in its ability to inspire the next generation to dream and to inspire multidisciplinary thinking in our young people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for availing your time. And we are looking forward to, one of the visits in collaboration with UniAppSA. Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much to you and your listeners.
All right, fantastic. That was a mind-blowing conversation. The South African National Space Agency, Den Matsapola, Science Engagement Manager. And you've missed this, don't forget we also broadcast live to Facebook, and you'll be able to get the footage and just rerun it and listen to what we were talking about today. And available the platform at UniAppSA official Facebook and Instagram. It is FM Facebook page FM as well as the UniApp Career Planning Show. Before I leave, I've got Sidi for next week. The last Thursday she is my favorite girl, my ride and ride because we don't die. And she is about to tell us what is available on her show. Mabele ke dira le gona ba tla go ba ka mo studio ka mo
Ritshwarele moeteledipele. Ritshwarele moeteledipele.
ba ko ba ke bua nnete mo stationeng mona ene ko ba gore le ntse ya tla mo metsing ka gona ga ke ba go ga ke go tima mic e bilutla go te ke kubile botho la go tla swatla
We are having Mukobanong FM and as UniAppSA career planning show. So kya go leka ka go jotlhe ba ka gore itse ke maintain standard se re setse se beile we are dreaming very big ditakatso le dikeletso tsa ka for show e latela ke tse di tona thata and I'm going to encourage people to actually go to our Facebook page. It's going to be like an unveiling in terms of who it is that will be interviewing next week, but we'll be looking at the business of radio. How does a radio station make money? How do you decide one day own a radio station? So for the entrepreneurship edition, the career planning show. So please make yourself available next week. More about the business side. How does it work? And also as a young person, what career opportunities are there besides being a DJ? What else is there? The technician, the engineers involved and all of that. I
love that. I told you, you always come guns blazing.
No, how we
Thank you so much. I'm definitely looking forward to next week's show, and I'm going to be available in studio just to feel the vibe thing, and I'm looking forward to that. There is a fantastic conversation. Goldstein, don't just be good,
be great.
We out.
Thank you for staying tuned to this week's mind-blowing episode. UniAppSA, let's build your future.
Thank you. So pasok sa UniAppSA sa lafa ka ba sa lafa ga ka sa le puso le follow ba ba di tsurumela la ba sa ba gore kuna be o sia be ibile ke ngwe tse ka lafa ka tsebe o fa khota se iso a ruta mona re o le ya marathon le fase o bona pele ja se iso
di tlhotsa di kgang di tse di wa ke pampiri ba itse ba ke bona tsa kago go aga go khabisa ntlo ya gago ba tse mo go di ka sekolo to go fika go 4000 rent ba di